believe yourself. A round of applause for all of us.
Mr. Sam Emmanuel is the founder of Semicolon Africa.
He has over 80 years experience in software engineering and is certified Java programmer. A big round of applause for him, please.
And next is my Oga, Mr. Shegun Cole. He is the founder of Fund the Gap. You guys, a round of applause. This stage is about to.
Emmanuel, I have questions. Why is funding necessary?
Why is funding important to a startup? A startup, by its very name, if you can think of it as a baby, you need money to grow the baby, buy food, buy all of those things. So for people that have a vision, that they're trying to solve a problem, they need money to be able to execute on that vision that they have.
If a business is investable, why is it that majorly the tech businesses that are attracting funding? What happens to the agri-businesses? What happens to the fashion businesses? So what spaces are you looking at getting funding across to these people? What industries aside tech now? What will you look out for as an investor in any of these businesses?
First and foremost, as a founder, you need to have a clear plan on how you want to use investors' money. You need to have a clear plan on how you want to use investors' money. It sounds very simple. It sounds very basic. But I tell you, this is why many founders currently are not raising. I've raised for 54 startups. I'm currently raising for 25 startups. And I tell you that if you cannot pass my due diligence, I rather not even sell you to the investor. Because you don't only damage your reputation, you also damage mine. And it would amaze you that a lot of startups, a lot of founders don't have a clear plan on how they want to use the investors' money. And this is very easily known by investors.
Nigeria and Africa, we have to get used to looking for opportunity in struggle. As it gets darker, as the economy gets worse, that is your indication, that is your opportunity to start getting up and solving problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Mr. Sam. Thank you, Mr. Shegun.
We move right quickly into the second panel session. What do you think are the biggest pitfalls in startups? Let me approach people like you. What are the biggest pitfalls? Some of the biggest loopholes you've seen in those startups that eventually
That's a really interesting question. Because when I usually speak at entrepreneurship conferences, I always point out that there's nothing to be ashamed of in employment. So some people that come and leave their jobs and start a company, I don't know, then they actually should not have started a company. I think that sometimes there's a glamour associated with running a company, which just simply isn't true. In fact, as an employee in a big firm, like an Access Bank or like a Zenith Bank, you'll probably make more impact. I can tell you that Roosevelt is making more impact than me. Is he not an employee? Well, he runs the biggest bank in Africa, so of course he's going to be making more impact than me. So I think the first thing is really evaluating whether you actually want to go on that journey, because it's a very different journey than being an employed career professional.
a lot of these startups here are regarded as American businesses. I want to make my business an American business. Where do I go from there?
I'm gonna let Laura tell us her journey, but it's about incorporating in the United States. And what we've seen is that a lot of companies do that for two reasons. One, it's easy to fundraise in dollars from firms that don't want to have to deal with exchange rate risk. So they give you their loans in the United States, and you take their dollars, and then you pay them back in dollars, and it's not their problem what exchange rate you use. They don't have to worry about any of that. Secondly, your intellectual property is protected in the United States, and often they're buying, the investors that you're getting are investing in the IP, and they want it to be protected by American courts. So what we've seen is a lot of companies are pursuing that avenue, go to Delaware, incorporate, it allows you to then raise in the United States in a way that is much more difficult in Nigeria. It's much more difficult to deal with those things. And one of the big gaps on the continent more largely is there's just not as much capital on the continent. The one thing I would say that I think differentiates the Nigerian market, something I've seen that I find incredibly attractive, is so many companies here, because you're bootstrapped, you're often profitable quite early, or at least you're generating revenue. So someone's not writing a check to you for $5 million with this idea that maybe in 3 to 5 years you might start to generate some revenue. You already are making money. You're learning today like what your customers want because you actually have customers. You're not developing and engineering something and coding and creating a product that no one's using. You're using it and you're doing it in a way that can be demonstrable to potential investors. And the thing we hear is that maybe you're not thinking about scale. And you're not talking in big enough terms to attract that VC growth, which expects very rapid growth. You're talking about, well, I'm working in Ibadan,